thank you so much for joining us. Today's video is going to be a little different than the videos before. But I really wanted to do this video and hope it's helpful for families out there as it's been for us. Today, I want to talk a little bit about, as you saw in the title, how to introduce race to our kids. So with everything going on, Peter and I have always been people that consider ourselves inclusive people and anti-racist. Now, being new parents came with new questions as when should we start talking about it with our baby? As a multicultural family in a multilingual household, I started noticing that Jamie, around like 4 to 6 months, he started noticing when we switch languages. So he has different reactions when we speak to him in one language than the other. So I was like, if his hearing is developed that way, is his sight as well? When do babies start noticing different racial features? So Rebecca Bigler from the University of Austin, Texas, had the answer for me, and it turns out that we know from 6 months different races. So you maybe can start noticing that from your baby. So I was like, well, I'm right there. So how can I introduce this to my baby from 6 to 12 months when it's before they can talk and they start asking questions? So it's a little bit different than once they have words themselves. So I started digging and I found some ways of how you can do that. And that's what I'm going to share with you today, guys, because I hope it's as helpful for you as it's been for us. So I think it's really important and really amazing for today's to raise this new generation. So I'm going to start by telling you one of the first ones. So it can be a little bit different if you have an interracial household and if you have one that it's not diverse. So if you are in an interracial household, you may even start noticing how your baby starts perceiving by noticing like the different skin colors or your hair. Maybe one has lighter hair and the other parent has darker hair, or things like, I don't know, curly hair. So when your baby, you notice that your baby is noticing this as well, what you can do is start talking about it. Yes, honey, mom has curly hair and dad has straight hair. Isn't that so interesting? It's so beautiful. Or yes, honey, this parent has darker skin, and did you know that you mentioned something from your history for that to your baby? And did you know, yeah, grandpa has lighter color. Did you know that it's because grandpa comes from, I don't know. So it's just so natural and involved in your interracial household. Now, this is also important because obviously you don't have all races in your house, and if your house, like in your family, looks pretty much all around the same features. So let's pretend that you're not in quarantine and you're out there in the world with your baby in the grocery store, maybe a birthday party, and you notice that your baby notices a person from a different race, right? And then maybe they just like stare at it and like point at it, because for them they're noticing something different, and that's great, right? So instead of, I don't know, having a reaction where you could negative about it, what you have to do with your baby at this point is, even if it's a person you can trust, or or just a stranger, you can decide if you say it with the person hearing or you do it later on with your baby. I mean, not that later on because he'll forget. But right there, what you can say is, yes, honey, that lady or that guy does have lighter skin than you or has darker skin than you. Or yes, honey, did you notice their hair? Isn't that great? Or did you notice this or that from that racist feature? And then what you have to do is say a cool fact about that person. So maybe you can say like, yes, honey, did you notice his darker skin? And did you hear he was speaking, I don't know, another language? You don't know that language, honey. Isn't that so interesting? Or yes, honey, her hair is amazing. Did you know that Black women have hair like that? Isn't it just an amazing way to style it? or anything from that race, a fact that you know from them that it's different than your own race, and you point it out. For them, it's just going to be interesting to hear it and to know that you treat it that way, as in something that is positive and they just embrace it, right? Because we don't want to fall in microaggressions when we kind of like pretend it's not there. It's there, and we want the kids to notice that there are different races and they're all equally amazing and deserve the same opportunities. So you go ahead and tell that to your baby. That's one of the first things that you do with your baby as this small. Also, of course, let's remember to break stereotypes. Your little ones, when they're pointing out, they do not think about this. They're not about stereotypes. They're not trying to warn you that about anything. They're not pointing out to make fun of anyone. So, as we have in our hands brand new minds, let's try to erase stereotypes from ours and shape theirs without them, right? Wouldn't it be amazing that in the future when they go to school and maybe some other little classmates come and say something about like the race of one of their classmates, and your son it's like, or your daughter it's like, no, you guys, didn't you know that? Feel embraced here, do feeling amazing thing in the blank about that race. That's what we're trying to do, right? No stereotypes, just something amazing in the world with all these many races that we have to celebrate. Second thing you do is to expose your baby to different races in something natural. You don't do it like on purpose. It's just there in their daily life in things like books when you teach them something that has nothing to do with race. Right now, I'm teaching Jamie, you know, he has his flashcards or books with things learning, I don't know, maybe body parts, right? So you get a book like this one. Or maybe if you don't find that one, you can do flashcards with body parts of different races, with different colors, right? Or different hairstyles. And you don't point out that. You just simply are learning about hand or legs, right? Or maybe a book about clothing, and it's just like different people of different races wearing different clothes, and you're just like skirt, pants. The important thing right there is not the race of the person, but the other thing they're learning. But it's right there. They know that everyone is part of the same world and everything they're learning. So for them, it's just exposed that that's the way it is. Because before like today's times, I remember that back in the day, things weren't as versatile or even toys, you know, like I have baby dolls and they were all white baby dolls. Right now it's different, so with little things like that, you expose them, and for them it's going to become a very natural thing that we are all part of the world equally. No one's better than the other. We're all great, right? Because then questions may come up like, oh, why am I not in the book? Or why are everyone white, mommy? Things like that, and we want to know that that's what we're trying to eliminate. And it starts from right now. So it's just common for them. Cartoons, right? Cartoons where we see people from different races. And for them, it's just going to be as natural. You can expose them to that too in the outdoor world, but I'm not going to tell you, go befriend people from all races so your children is next to them, right? But for them to see you interact with people from different races is just also going to be great for them in the way that they can. So now we have that, and it's going to be natural. Now we want to expose to them on purpose to different races by teaching them the races' histories. Now, they're really little, and maybe they don't go through all the books, but around like, we're talking about 6 to 12 months, right? So that's actually another 6 months, and it can be different how they react from the 6 to maybe 8, 9 to the actual 12 months. But what I'm going to recommend you as well is to expose them to different books that tell the history and things different races has to go through. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you some recommendations of books I've personally found that I think that are really good in a way that you can start teaching your kids this. Because it definitely starts from home. So if we want to raise a different generation, it's on our hands. So I'm going to show you right now some books that I found that tell different stories of Black people, Black history, and I recommend that a lot. I'm also going to show you a couple if you're interested of other races histories. And I know this is not the main issue of the video, but I'm going to show you a couple of books I also found on Love is Love and other types of diversity and inclusiveness and feminism that can be taught to babies. So these are really good books that you can find in Amazon. I'm going to leave maybe a link below on the description for a couple of these books so you can guys get them. So I think that's also a very good way. Little Legends by Vashni Harrison has both exceptional men in Black history and bold women in Black history. These books are for readers of all ages, and it illustrates the stories and biographies of aviators, artists, politicians, pop stars, athletes, and activists in Black history. Now we have 3 empowering books. First, I have Woke Baby, which is a book that celebrates both what it's being a baby and what it's mean to be a woke. It has playful art, and it's also like an anthem of hope in the world and like how the sky is the limit. Next up, we have Ace for Activists. It's just a different ways an ABC book that is written and illustrated for next generation of progressive families. So basically, you'll be learning the ABCs, but with words as civil rights, justice, equality, etc. Next we have Baby Feminist by Lauren Brands, which is a really funny, really nice drawing book that is just touches about how feminist baby boy loves learning, loves being himself, and knows the importance of being in touch with his feelings. Basically, it's to let your baby boy know that it's okay to be a feminist, to fight for it, and to be in touch with his feelings in this world. Shaking Things Up by Susan Hood is a really good book. It introduces 14 revolutionary young women that shapes the next generation. So it's pretty amazing. Let the Children's March talk about kids in the 60s that march after hearing Martin Luther King. So it's a really inspiring book because they live a meaningful change, and it's pretty much what we are living up again nowadays. The Proudest Blood takes an adventure of a little girl that doesn't understand why people notices her differences of her race and her where she comes from, and they don't appreciate it the way she does. So she embarks in an adventure of changing this. So I hope that was helpful to you guys. I know it can be a little tricky and we don't necessarily know when is that it started impacting our kids. So I decided to do the research and find that 6 months is a good point to start since they start noticing this, and also to bring them closer to the way their world is, and to know that all lives matter, Black lives matter, and that's really important to put right now. So hopefully they'll grow in a different, more amazing world than we're currently right now. So I hope this was helpful. I hope I came across the way I wanted, and I hope that maybe including a couple of these things in your daily life, in your household, will be helpful to you for the way you show race to your own kids. You can do more research as well. I'm going to keep doing that myself, and if I find any new ways, or maybe later on how to talk about it from once they are toddlers and they start talking that it's different, I'll do a video for that as well. And also we'll love to do a video of how to include interracial families, because that is also a tricky matter. So if you guys want me to do a video of little ways you can do that for your family, I'm more than happy to. That's definitely something that we have to do with Jamie since he is part of an interracial family. So if you want a video of that, I will be more than happy to. And remember that this is a fight that we fight all together, and it starts right from home. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to check out more of our videos. Join us on our Instagram, and see you next time. Bye bye. And cut.